Now, as noted, with everything apart, we need to clean our gasket surfaces. To do that, we're going to use brake parts cleaner, and this is available at our website. And we're also going to use a clean cloth. In this case, we have our Centara wipes, which are also available on our website. Nice lint-free white rags, great for detailing work or just cleaning. We're going to spray the gasket surfaces and wipe them. It's okay if some of the brake cleaner gets into the cylinder head. That won't harm anything. Just don't spray the whole can deep into the cylinder head purposefully. So we'll spray the whole surface, and then we'll start wiping. And you can see we're pulling off all of the oil that may have leaked between the cylinder head surface and the valve cover gasket, as well as some of the oil will be there just from pulling the valve cover off. It'll get some oil on the surface there. So we'll continue all around until all of our surfaces are nice and shiny and clean. And we'll do the same thing to the valve cover once we pull the gasket out of the grooves on the valve cover. We'll work all the way around here. We'll come back when we're done. All right, now we have our valve cover on the bench. We're taking care of removing the old gasket and cleaning. We've already removed some of the gasketing. It's coming off in pieces. And look how stiff this is. It's actually breaks. And so we're taking this out in pieces. Oh, there's a little bit of rubber left. And prying it with a small screwdriver out of the track. You can probably hear that on the microphone. While we're removing that, let me show you here too how brittle these spark plug seals are. Look at this. These are just breaking. That is supposed to be like this. Now that section right there isn't functional, but it gives you an idea of what this whole gasket is like. So we're going to be removing all of these spark plug seals, and you can see they're cracking right apart, as well as the perimeter. Once we have all the gasketing removed, we'll make sure the tracks are clean, around the spark plug holes are clean, and we'll clean the whole thing out with some brake parts cleaner and a rag. Then it'll be ready for the new gasket and installation. We'll come back to this after we have all of the gasket material removed and the inside cleaned up. To remove these spark plug seals, they're awful difficult. They're just breaking apart on the edges. I'm going to use a small, fairly sharp screwdriver and push it into the edge. I've got this flange broken away. I'm going to push it into the edge, tap it with the hammer so it goes into the seal. And what we have, remember, we've got this part going down inside. So we're just pushing into the side of it and gently pry up to start bringing that seal out. Just be careful of your plastic valve cover itself. This one is being especially difficult. These two came out fairly easy. So just keep working at it. Be careful. Don't chip the valve cover. And work on getting these out. All right, now we've been installing the valve cover gasket. We cleaned the valve cover. We got rid of the loose oil and any oil inside the grooves. We didn't bother fully cleaning the inside of scraping and so on. That'll be fine. But we are fitting the gasket down into the clean and dry groove. Work it around. Just like that. And the spark plug seals, note the through holes. Put them into place. Okay, now this requires no sealant except on these half-round protrusions which seal into the half-round cutouts in the cylinder head. On the M54 engines, there's 2 on the rear, and there's also 2 on the front. On M52 engines and M50s, there's only cutouts on the rear. The front does not have that. That would be, in other words, double Vanos engines have the cutouts on the front as well. Single Vanos engines or non-Vanos only have the cutouts on the rear. Now, this requires a sealant on the cutout. If you read your Bentley repair manual, it tells you to put the sealant just here. This is the proper sealant, the Victor sealant. We have this in stock. Purchase this when you purchase your valve cover gasket set. And we start at the corner, put a small bead up all the way around to the other corner. You don't need a lot, just a small bead around. We'll do the front on this as well, and then immediately get the valve cover into place on the cylinder head and start working the nuts down. All right, now we're back at the engine. We have our valve cover gasket installed. We've installed the sealant on the humps on both the rear and the front. Now, you may notice here, this is very clean, and we have, you may not be able to see it in the camera, the fan shroud and the fan removed. This is because we took the opportunity while we had the valve cover off to remove the Vanos unit and rebuild it with new seals so that it functions properly. This engine has 140,000 miles on it, and the Vanos seals were leaking and the Vanos wasn't working properly. There wasn't any rattle, but it wasn't controlling the camshafts properly. So when you're doing a valve cover gasket, that is actually a good time to do the Vanos unit. And we'll show you that separately. Now, with the sealant, the Vanos unit seals against the cylinder head here and over here. So there's a little crack there. I'm just going to use that same sealant we used on the humps or the half rounds on the valve cover gasket, just across that crack. Just put a small bead. And then we're ready to install the valve cover. Now watch your hoses and electrical wires back here as you're installing it. And we'll work it back here, get it about into position. We're going to have to lift these hoses and wires up back here. Okay, now it's basically down. I want to make sure everything is out of the way, not pinched under the valve cover back here. So I'm going to physically feel all of them. Okay, we've got the valve cover in place. Now we replace all of the rubber grommets and start putting the nuts in. All right, now the valve cover is in place. We have our fresh grommets for the bolt holes. We put one in each place. We can do it that way, inserting them first and then putting the nuts in like that and working them down with our socket. Or we can put the grommet on the nut and put it into place. And that's what we'll do here. We'll put all of them in place, remembering that through the center we had these studded ones. And we'll just work it down till they're all in place, then we'll start tightening. Okay, now we've got all of our nuts in place. We'll just run around and just get them so they just start to snug all the way around. Then we'll do our final torquing. Similar to our removal, we'll do a spiral pattern like this, down here, over here. Well, going to the center one, don't forget the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then out here 13, 14, and 15. And we'll continue to work around till our final torque. Once we have them all torqued, connect our crankcase ventilation hose, remount our wiring harnesses, mount our coils, remount the coil harness, and finish putting everything together, and the job is done. So at this point, it's just reassembly in the same order that we took the parts apart. At that point, we'll be all set. Now, if you've liked what you've seen here, remember, please hit your like button. Send us some comments, and if you have questions. And remember also, everything you've seen here, the sealant, the gaskets, the Vanos rebuild kit that we just implied that we did, is all available at bavauto.com. So come please visit our website, and from there, we're going to do another video. Thanks for watching.